Hi, I'm America Ferreira. Every drop of rain that falls outside your house will end up in a river, a lake, or an ocean. As water travels around, it flows through our streets, farms, factories. Along the way, it picks up all kinds of toxins and strange matter. And that all adds up to a lot of pollution in our water supply. Around the world, contaminants are getting into our waterways and affecting the health of people everywhere. Let's meet some really dedicated people in the Amazon rainforest who are working to clean up their water.
This boy is fishing the way his ancestors did in a remote forest of Peru, in one of the many rivers that feed the mighty Amazon. All this beautiful, abundant water, yet none is safe to drink. For the longest time, this boy's village had no way to purify its water, and the people were getting sick. In New York, a group of teens learned about the problem and made a promise to help the village clean up its polluted water. At their high school fashion club, these girls create new styles and organize a fashion show every year. It's fashion with a mission, and it's all about water.
We raise money by having the fashion show, by doing other fundraisers, and the money goes to buying water filtration systems for this community in a rainforest in Peru. It's called the Manu Rainforest.
The Fashion Club is connected with a United Nations student program that deals with global freshwater issues.
It's their human right to have their clean water.
Bags made from recycled jeans are popular.
We can then sell these or donate them to the kids in Peru and fill them with things that they can use.
The club is making a big difference in a village called Santa Rosa de Huacaria, population 180.
In this community, we farm and we hunt and fish.
Before the indigenous people settled here for good, their ancestors were nomads in the rainforest. Even as the modern world intrudes, they work to preserve many ancient traditions. They still rely on the forest for much of their food and on the healing power of medicinal plants.
Huacaria is far up in the very foothills of the Andes. The snow melt and the rainfall on the eastern slope of the Andes comes down and feeds into a number of small streams that join together until you get to the larger rivers.
The rivers and streams form the Amazon watershed, the world's largest supply of fresh water. All this water is connected, so pollution from one point can spread over a vast area. In Huacaria's case, much of the pollution in the drinking water comes from nearby communities. That's what Nancy Santulo learned when she came here 5 years ago to study medicinal plants.
When I came to the community, they were drinking contaminated water, and the health of the children was vulnerable.
The health risks from drinking the water are parasites and diarrhea. A child can have 7 or 8 episodes of diarrhea in 1 year.
In Huacaria, waterborne diseases are an important cause of illness among children, but not a cause of death, not so much. But more generally, worldwide, waterborne diseases are the leading cause of death among children.
The school teacher asked me if I could help them with water. I consulted with experts in water and sanitation, and I formed House of the Children to improve the quality of life of indigenous children and their families in context to their cultural and environmental needs.
Nancy enlisted the help of Huacaria's shaman.
We talked about the project, and little by little, we reached an understanding.
When I came here, there was an existing water system. There were about a dozen taps in the central village area. They were taking water straight from a stream, which was actually quite contaminated, and feeding it directly into the houses with absolutely no treatment.
We thought then that the water was clean, but when we drank the water, we'd get sick.
Nearby communities don't have water treatment services. Runoff from their waste and that of domestic animals ends up in the rivers. They use detergents, minerals, and gunpowder.
The community joined forces with Nancy to help design and build a water purification system. The kids helped to maintain the new system. Members of the student committee check and clean the creek, the source of water for the village. Emilio Caparo heads the committee.
With the kids as a committee, we help build these new walls and we put in the stones so it won't fill up with soil.
The Student Water Committee monitors the quality of the water. The kids have been learning to do water tests. We can see if the water is truly free of contaminants.
Because Huacari is in a mountainous terrain, we use gravity to feed the water through the system. This is called a gravity flow water system.
The water flows first into a tank called the pre-filter.
The water is filtered through stones of different sizes.
The water then travels through underground pipes to a second phase called the slow filter.
There are stones and sand here. The sand filters out the bacteria.
Here, too, the kids test the water to see if it's contaminated with bacteria. Now they add chlorine to the water to make sure to get rid of any remaining bacteria. From here, purified water is piped to one last tank, the reservoir. Finally, water reaches the village taps, flowing pure and clean. But the kids still want to test for bacteria and make sure the chlorine levels are just right. The samples are taken to the lab and placed in an incubator. A day later, they check the results.
This sample is from the creek, the source. It's very contaminated with fecal and coliform bacteria. This one is from the sink. No bacteria at all. Zero.
The main change is that they have safe drinking water right at their houses. They don't have to carry the water from the river.
There was a time when girls had to carry water from the river. In some parts of the world, girls still spend many hours carrying water, time that could be spent on schoolwork.
We used to fill big gourds and carry 4 or 5 of them on our back and arms. They were heavy. Finally, now, I have my own sink.
Each family was responsible for building their sink.
Besides making drinking water safe, the project conducts weekly hygiene classes.
I also teach the mothers. If they know about health and basic hygiene habits, they'll have a positive influence on their kids. We continue to monitor waterborne illnesses now that they have clean water, but it will take a long time to learn the results.
We know how to do this by ourselves. If Native people in other communities want to learn, we can teach them how to do it.